Even if you leave it as it is for maybe 1 hour, 2 hour, a day, or 2 days, or a month, it will remain same. Sugar will not get separated from it, or it is not going to happen ki the lower part, this part of the mixture is more sweet and this is less sweet. It will remain uniform. This is homogeneous mixture and this is heterogeneous mixture. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
But I'll add few more points to distinguish between homogeneous and heterogeneous mixture. So I'll add few more points so that you can easily distinguish between homogeneous and heterogeneous. These are the definition points. So if I have to distinguish clearly homogeneous system with heterogeneous system. Actually, this topic is little bore, but from next topic of chemistry, next two chapters of chemistry are interesting. This is little bore. We don't have numericals here, just information. Very little of concept, more of information. Okay. So if I have to distinguish between them, I can distinguish them as single phase. I can say it's a single phase system, right? Single phase, and this is polyphase. More than one phases are there, right? I can call it polyphase, and with boundaries or separation also. Then this is important. Constituent particles are very small. Constituent particles are very small. Now this is important point. To be precise, it is less than or equal to 10 raised to minus 9 meter. I should not say this. Instead, I should say are approximately same as 10 raised to are in the range of 10 raised to minus 9 meter. And I'm sure you are aware of that this is size of an atom or a molecule or an ion, right? So that is in homogeneous mixture, particles are of atomic or ionic or molecular size, right? Actually, an atom is of nearly this size or molecule is of nearly this size, right? So size of particles in case of homogeneous mixture is very small. It is lesser than 10 raised to minus 9 meter, right? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Here particle sizes are large. Particle sizes are large, right? In this case, in case of homogeneous mixture, it's difficult to separate. It's difficult to separate by simple methods like filtration. So it's difficult to separate. Constituents using simple physical methods like filtration. We can separate. I'm not saying we cannot separate. For example, if it is all salt in water, we can separate. Boil it completely. Salt will be left as residue. Salt will be left in the container and water will get evaporated. You can collect water also in another vessel, condense it, you will get the same water, your pure water, distilled water, right? And salt will be separated, right?
Yes, sir.
Hello. So it is difficult to separate by simple methods like filtration. You cannot filter it, right? You have seen filters at home, ordinary filters which you directly put it into the tap, right? That's not, that doesn't work actually, because if it is a homogeneous mixture, some particles are really small, so they cannot be filtered out used from the ordinary filter, right? But in this case, we can separate the constituents by simple physical methods like filtration and all. That will also work. Right? Filtration and all will also work. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So these are some points with the help of which you can distinguish between homogeneous and heterogeneous mixture. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, next is homogeneous mixture, are commonly known as true solution or just solution. Now, this is an interesting word. At least we have something to study with. Solution. So when I say homogeneous mixture, actually homogeneous mixture itself means solution. What? Or true solution. Sometimes it is true solution or just solution will also do. Right? Solution itself means it's a true solution. So solution is a word which is used for homogeneous mixture. See, if I ask you an element is homogeneous or heterogeneous, or I cannot use a word homogeneous, heterogeneous for pure substances. Hello? My question is whether I can use a word homogeneous and heterogeneous for elements or compounds. Can I use these words for them? Or I can use only for mixtures? Hello? I cannot hear anyone. Sachit? Sachit? Not there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, maybe. So, see,
Right.
even I can use a word homogeneous for pure substances, right? Because they don't have more than one phase. Compound itself is a pure substance, so there is no second phase, right? Throughout the phase is going to be same. So, solution or true solution, right? So true solution is a word used for homogeneous mixture. Okay. Now, so as we've already distinguished between homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture, so whatever properties I said for homogeneous mixture are valid for solution because solution itself means homogeneous mixture, right? Now, some terms with organic solution. So, now, see, solution obviously contains two or more than two substances, right? Two or more than two pure substances are constituents of a solution, right? So, how many components are used in a solution? On the basis of that, we can classify them as first classification of solution. Like I can say it's a binary solution. What do you mean by binary solution? Binary solution has, bi stands for two, so binary solution has two components, right? Binary solution has two components. Then ternary solution, then quaternary solution. Depending on how many components are there, pentenary solution. So depending on how many components are there, this is 3-component solution, 4-component solution, 5-component solution. So these are, sorry, this is classification of solution on the basis of the number of components it contains. On basis of what? Number of components it contains. If it contains two components, then it is known as binary solution. If it contains three components, then it is known as ternary solution. If it contains four components, then it is quaternary solution, and so on. Okay. Not very important classification, but yes, it is. Now, usually we deal with binary solutions, like obviously in studies, in real life. So we have like a polynomial solution, many components are there, right? So components of binary solution. If you talk of binary solution has exactly two components, right? Binary solution has exactly two components. So components of binary solution. The two components, out of them, one is read as solvent and other is read as solute. One, solvent and solute. Now, what is solvent and what is solute? So the simplest statement for solvent and solute is the one which is present in larger quantity, excess quantity is known, large quantity is known as solvent. And the one which is present in smaller quantity is known as solute. So what is solvent, what is solute? Solvent is the substance which is present in larger amount, right? For example, a sugar syrup contains 100 gram of water and 20 gram of sugar. So water is what? Water is solvent and sugar is solute. The one which is present in smaller quantity is known as solute, and the larger quantity is known as solvent. Component present in larger quantity is known as solvent. Component present in smaller quantities. Now, if both the components are present in equal quantity, then what? If both the components are present in equal quantity, then what you will say? Hello. Question suna? I don't know. Chalo. Statement: if both components of, if the two components of binary solution, if both components of binary solution are present in equal amount, equal quantity, we can call either of two as solvent or solute. If both of them are present in equal quantity, some of the students say, sir, what if both of them are present in equal quantity, 50%, 50-50, then what? So you can call any of them to be solute and other as solvent. Otherwise, the one which is in larger amount is known as solute. Achha, one more interesting thing. Physical state. See, solute and solvent, they are not necessarily in same physical state, right? It's not necessary that both of them are liquids or both of them are solids or both of them are gases. They can be in different places. But usually the physical state of solvent is same as the physical state of solution. Physical state of solution is same as that of solvent. right? So you see the physical state of solution and the two components. If one of the components is liquid and solution is also liquid, then it is liquid is solvent, right? The physical state of solution is usually same as that of solvent. Okay. Now, as I use the word physical state, so physical state of solute and solvent may be different. And we can again classify solution as classification on basis of physical state of solute and solvent, right? How can you classify? I mean, solute, the one which is present in small quantity, solvent which is present in larger quantity, and I'll take some example, right? I'm not sure whether teacher will ever ask this question because that's information again. So solute, I can have solid dissolved in solid. I can have liquid dissolved in solid. I can have gas dissolved in solid. Right? I can have solid dissolved in liquid. I can have liquid dissolved in liquid. Liquid dissolved in liquid. I can have gases dissolved in liquid. Right? I can have gas dissolved in solid dissolved in gas, liquid dissolved in gas, and gas dissolved in gas. So I can have any phase of solute and any phase of solvent. I can have solid dissolved in solid. I can have solid dissolved in liquid, liquid dissolved in gas, gas dissolved in solid. Any of the two I can have, right? Let's write some examples. Solid dissolved in solids. We know a lot of alloys, right? We know a lot of alloys. Carbon steel, right? Brass, bronze. All these are examples of solid solution or solid dissolved in solid. Hello. I hope you're getting it. Alloys are the example of solid solution, right? Okay. Now, liquid in solid. Now, this seems to be a tricky, totally new thing, because I'm sure you have not studied about hydrated salts, right? Hydrated salts. What is that? When salts crystallize, they carry some water molecules, right? For example, if I say Na2SO4, it has some amount of water. So we say it's hydrated salt. If I heat it, then this part gets evaporated, then we get dry Na2SO4, yeah, dehydrated Na2SO4, right? So some of the salts have water molecules. Yeah. Water molecules get trapped while they crystallize. During crystallization, they absorb some water particles, water molecules. So that is example of hello.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. So that is example of liquid and solid. Now gas and solid. See, you'll study this also in higher syllabus. Like gases can also be absorbed on the metal surface. There's a long story behind it. We have it in higher syllabus. That again forms a basic for catalysis, right? So gases can also be absorbed in solid surface. Like hydrogen can be absorbed. Hydrogen can be absorbed on metal surfaces. All the gases can be absorbed to some extent on metal surfaces. So that is example of gas dissolved in solid. Solid dissolved in liquid, this is the most common one. You can use solution of common salt or sugar. Common salt dissolved in water. This is example of what? Solid dissolved in liquid. Now, liquid dissolved in liquid, a lot of examples are there. Any of the two miscible liquids, not immiscible, any two miscible liquids. Any two miscible liquids you mix, then it forms a solution of liquid in liquid. Gas dissolved in liquid. Now, this is also a common thing you have studied in biology and other topics. There are lot of gases dissolved in water, right? Due to which obviously fishes can survive inside the water, right? They extract oxygen from water. So, a lot of gases are dissolved in liquid. The best example is carbonated beverages, right? You drink, you take carbonated beverages, cold drinks, right? So those are carbonated beverages. If you open that bottle, some gas comes out of it. So what is that? A lot of gases are dissolved in it when you at high pressure, and then you open this, so some gases gets released from the solution, which comes out with a sound, right? So the example is aerated water or carbonated beverages. You can say best example, which you can relate from daily life. Carbonated beverages. Right. Now, solid dissolved in gas. The solid dissolved in gas. What is that? Have you ever heard of solid dissolved in gas? This is not a common one, right? It's a special example is the iodine vapors. Iodine vapors. Some people say smoke is also the example of a solid dissolved in gas, but that is not. Smoke is not an example of true solution or solution. It's a suspension. That will be our next topic. That is heterogeneous mixture, right? So if I say solid in gas, so iodine vapors get dissolved in air, right? So that forms a mixture of solid in gas. Now, liquid in gas. Liquid in gas is the common example in our daily life is fog. So fog is one of the examples of solution of liquid in a gas, right? Then finally we have gas in gas, our atmospheric air. Air is example of solution of gas in gas, that is solute and solvent, both are gaseous, right? Acha, one thing I'll like to add, if you consider atmosphere as a whole thing, then it is not a true solution or homogeneous mixture. Instead, it is heterogeneous. Why? Denser gases are near the surface of Earth, like carbon dioxide and all. But if you go to some height, certain height, then what we have? After a certain height, you have gases which have less density, right? For example, hydrogen and all, right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So composition changes. But if you consider a small part of atmosphere, then it can be treated as homogeneous mixture of few gases. Correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is one classification of solution. Now, next is, I'll stop here.